Very pleasant to have Mr. Matthew Hans, the CEO of the Pantera Minerals Limited, join us today. The Pantera Minerals Limited is an exploration development company just listed on the ASX in August of this year with a trading code PFE. The company has iron ore, copper, manganese, and polymetallic projects in WA. So welcome, Matthew. Thank you for meeting with us today.
Hi, Steph. Thanks for having me.
Could you please give us a brief introduction of yourself first?
Yeah, well, sure. So I guess I've having come to the CEO role as a traditional sort of pathway. I'm a lawyer by trade. I spent the last 10 years practicing as a resource lawyer over in WA, and for the last 7 years of that, I've managed a law firm by myself and primarily provided legal advice to resource companies and NAID title holders. So I'm a bit unique. I've sat on both sides of the fence, and then I've helped clients such as bring projects on such as Northern Star, Western Areas and Newmont. And then before this role, I had a sort of 12-month secondment role as Rio Tinto Exploration. So I headed up their sort of exploration division across Asia Pacific. So I'm not your traditional CEO, and I brought projects on. So that sort of puts me well placed to bring this project to market. And the other thing is, as far as I know, I'm the only Indigenous Australian as a CEO of a listed company. So it's pretty unique.
So anyway, you're very experienced in this industry and related and also in the W region. So what made you choose to start your career as a CEO of the Pantera, and what kind of business is like and of this company and its objectives?
So I guess I was looking for a bit of a new challenge, and the chairman, Barnaby Edgerton Warburton, I worked with him about 6 or 7 years ago, and he's always pitched projects to me that sort of wanted to pull me out of being as a lawyer into a CEO and those roles. And this is the first project that's really grabbed me on the basis of where it is. It's an area of significant values to NAID title holders. It's got some great upside, and it really allows me to bring what I've been working on the last 7 years as a NAID title lawyer, I suppose, and bring that in and help sort of different strategies for those stakeholders.
So can you tell us a bit more about Pantera? What kind of projects it has, and what type of commodities it's focusing on?
Yeah, sure. So as you said, we listed in August. We are an early stage explorer. I would consider ourselves to be high impact, high risk, but with high reward options. 7 million IPO went really well. So well funded to execute our exploration strategy. And we've kind of got 4 projects. So we've got 2 projects up in the Yampi area, it's out of Derby, so North WA. And we call them the Yampi Iron Ore Project, which is, we think, is potential for high grade, high tonnage iron ore discovery. It's located 5 km from the coast, and it's also in the great area of Coolum and Cockatoo Islands. Next door to that, in the same area, is our Yampi Copper Projects. It's got to look at 8 kilometres from massive IOG magnetic anomaly and a magnetic nickel copper potential. And then coming down south, sort of around the Carnarvon region, WA, so like the mid region of the state, we have our Weelarrana Manganese Project, which is 45 kilometres from element 25, which they've got a manganese resource. And then our third project's our Frederick's Polymetallic Project, which we think's got a lead, zinc, and copper potential, and it's same sort of geological setting to the Abra deposit. So we've sort of got 3 really good projects that are really interesting to us, highly unexplored, and some good potential.
So among these projects, which would be the priority and the reasons?
So our main priority, our focus is our Yampi Iron Ore Project. We think there's a massive potential there. It's in an area that's never been drilled before. It's quite barely explored, has potential for some high grade, high tonnage iron ore exploration project in WA. If it's not the most remote project in the world, it's definitely the most remote and underexplored project in Australia. And then drill program will start early next week, and then from next year we'll run into our other projects. So we've got 3 decent projects to explore the next 12, 18, 36 months.
So I know the iron ore price had increased significantly in like a 1.5 year long that time, but these days back to around like 120 USD per ton. So how would you comment on iron price? And so what is your thought on this market in the future?
Yeah, it's a really good question. We saw some, extraordinarily high prices in May this year. and it's sort of come back and settled a bit. It's like, 110, 120 US a ton, which I think is probably to sit for a while. And, why the iron ore prices fluctuated and it's affecting some current producers, like we're a good 3 to 5 years away from we produce. But in saying that, iron ore is certainly welded to the steel production, and that's not really going anywhere. So there's going to be demand for that, in the near future, next 5-10 years. So like we said, we are a while away for worrying about the prices, but right now we want to get out and explore and see what sort of resources we've got.
Sure. From the recent announcements, we know that Pantera is working as it's committed in the prospectus to get the approvals on the Yampi iron project. So could you please tell us a bit more in regard to the upcoming drilling program, like what type of drilling will be, and when it's supposed to be completed, and when we can see the initial assay results?
Yeah, for sure. So like I said, we started our initial focus is the iron ore program out of Yampi, and we've permitted that, fully permitted, and like a pretty good achievement for our team to list in August and be able to drill in middle of October, which was like two months. We commissioned a helicopter rig to be built start of this year, because seeing that we were going to drill, we got on early and commissioned a spec-built helicopter rig because there's no roads where we are. Also, we want to have less of an environmental footprint. So the drill rig is mobilised up to Derby today. It's been driven out to the laydown area. The helicopter will lift it into the first drill hole Thursday and Friday. And so we think the drill rig will be spinning early next week. And we have 5 holes planned, sort of 5 to 6 week drill program. And then we'll start seeing the assay results probably early in January.
You mentioned like helicopter portable diamond rig will be applied here because there's no road. I think that would be the best option. So what about its average costs?
So that we think the costs are probably a little bit less than what it would be to put a roads in. But for us, what it really is the environmental footprint is less. So we don't have to build in a long, 100 kilometre road to get there. So we're not disturbing the ground to come and have a look. And then we don't need to rehab when we come out. We didn't need to do a heritage survey for the road coming in. We've done a heritage survey and traditional under approval to drill the hole. So the footprint if we go there and there's nothing there, the footprint when we walk away is a lot less than what it would be in anywhere else in the state. And, yes, it's been logistically a challenge to get a helicopter in, but for us, it's the footprint's less. So it's from environmental footprint, it's quite unique. And there's other companies in the same area who are also using helicopter rigs. So it's not unusual for this to be happening in that area.
So the regions kind of like Aboriginal regions, is there any these kind of title concerns, and what about the local relationships?
So there's one native title group there called the Damulgari people. It's determined native title. They've had their determined native title for a good 7 or 8 years. They're used to iron ore mines. So just off the coast, you've got Cockatoo and Kulin Islands. Being an Indigenous person myself and having acted on both sides, I kind of understand what their needs and wants are. But in saying that, every group is different. So for us, it's about getting them understand those people, what their wants and desires are, and trying to get them involved in the project along the way. So, this project was around 10 years ago, and then it was FMG and Rio looked at it, but then native title wasn't settled. Iron ore price dropped out. The vendor we took it off, re-permitted it. He spent a lot of time building good relationships with the traditional owner groups, and then we've been up there three or so times and met them and trying to build that relationship as well. And like we did it was a site visit, and they basically said, you were here 10 years ago, you haven't been back, what's going on? Can you get out there and start exploring, have a look? So they're keen for the project. So for us, it's get on there, see what's involved, and continue to build that strong relationship, which is really important in these days, day and age.
So besides the projects, what about the other projects? Are there potentials and advantages? Manganese and polymetallic?
Yes, I mean, there are some pretty sexy minerals at the moment everyone's looking for. So especially copper, there's a lot of explorers in WA getting some great copper finds and, moving in that space. So they're just once again underexplored areas that we want to get in and turn the ground, the drill rig. Like ultimately we had 3 drill rigs that have them all running across these 3 projects now. But for us, it's about a project up in the north, so that sort of gives us a project to do in what would be the middle of the year for us, and then we roll into other projects in our summer. So then we have this, because obviously up in the north, the wet seasons come through, we can't really drill from about December to May. So in that time of the year, we'll push back into our more south project. So we get 12 months of the year opportunity as opposed to having just the Yampi project would just be the non-wet season. So I think we're in a pretty good shape to be doing 12 months of exploration.
Cool. So what kind of news flows we can expect from next 12 months?
The news flow. So for us, I think we'll get this drilling done. Hope we get some good results that'll help us allow to program our next drill program out there next year, which would sort of kick off in April, May next year. And at the same time, look to doing after that an exploration program through Weelarrana, and then from there on into Frederick. So we've got a good 12 to 18 months of solid drilling exploration in front of us to see, to sort of seeing what is actually out there. So it's like
exciting.
It's very exciting. It's high impact, high exploration. It's really binary. So the iron ore is there. We've got some really good rock samples and high rock samples. Anything up to 68%. We just don't know how big the resource is there or how much. So we'll hope it's good results early next year.
So any other acquisition plans for in the future, or any other projects are already under discussion or evaluation?
Oh, I mean, we're like most explorers, always got our ear to the ground, looking out and putting feelers. So we have a lot of things come across our desk, and we've got a sort of good geology team sitting behind us. So we're open to looking at everything, just see what comes across our desk.
So any additional information you would like to address to your shareholders and some potential investors?
I think it's a really exciting time for Pantera. We listed in August. We raised our capital at 20 cents, $7 million. I think the share price today is at 35. So there's been some pretty good upside already. There's obviously some interest. We haven't, unlike most other IPOs this year, we haven't dropped below the listing price. So we've been pretty happy about that. We've said what we were going to do, which was going to drill this project by the end of the year. We've done that. We've permitted it. And for us, I think it's a great opportunity to get on now before some good results could come out in January.
Oh, thank you very much, Matthew, for your time and the explanation. And we're looking forward to see the growth of the Pantera and the more exciting news come to the market.
Yeah, thanks for your time.
Thank you.